Good morning, everybody. It's a dreary day in Texas, yet another boring day in the pandemic. And I'm about to tell you a little story about what's kind of obvious if you're looking at my head. My husband went to work for 2 days in a row to his actual workplace and not in the home office, and left me alone with a pair of brand new wall clippers. And this is what happened. I look like I'm about to go into juvie for very old people, or a detainment camp, or have a really bad case of lice. And this is not the first time this has happened, but I've never had proper professional clippers before, so it's probably not the last time this will happen. Any of you who are familiar with my blog will know that my hair changes colour much more than it should, and it's all done by my own fair hand. And last week I could feel the boredom setting in, and I decided to dye my hair with some of the stuff I had in the house, and it went a deep ginger, an unattractive deep ginger. So then I got a blonde, I dyed it again, and it went a light ginger. And it's not like it's the first time I've dyed my hair. So then I went and got an ultra light ash blonde, and it finally turned out sort of like you can see it now, which is kind of what I want it to be. I had discovered that my grey hair wasn't perfect. It was coarse and horrible, and I just didn't like it. And I'm stuck here at home with nothing to do apart from clip and dye my hair. And this history goes back a long, long way. My mother and Nana would not let me use any scissors until I was 12 years old. I had plastic scissors until I was 12 years old. And when I went to secondary school, they had to relent and allow me to use scissors for things like domestic science, where I had to cut outfits. And that's really where it started, I think. Long ago, my mum had brought from America the most gorgeous negligee. I assume she bought it for her wedding. And it was sort of aqua and some blues and made of a chiffon material. And I was about 3, and my family are avid sewers, knitters, the whole thing. So there's always dangerous things in the house. But I was looking at my doll and thinking, I think my doll would look great with a negligee. So I just took the scissors and made a negligee. And when my mum came home, she just flipped, understandably, because it was the one perfect thing left from our marriage, apart from me. You know, I really was the most perfect thing. So she was torn between whether she leathered me or just gave me a row. And of course, she just gave me a row and said I must not ever do anything like that again. I think I did. But anyway, I moved on, and I wasn't allowed anywhere near scissors. I don't know where they were locked up. Maybe where you lock up things for your kids these days. Anyway, I couldn't find them. So between then and the next incident, my deadbeat dad must have got drunk in America and thought, oh, I miss my little girl. I'm going to go and spend all my money on a box full of toys and send this to her. And at this time, my mum had been not exactly deceiving me, but decided not to tell me the absolute truth about my dad. So I could tell that she wasn't happy when the box of toys appeared, but I was happy. And one particular doll was just fantastic. It was a baby doll, and it was like nothing you would get in the UK. It was dressed up like a baby and lovely blonde hair. And I called it BB. And I know this is going to sound strange, but I was really slow at talking. I didn't really talk until I was 3, and then apparently I came out with the sentence, and as my nana would say, I never shut up since. So, anyway, sometime later, BB had been played with a lot. She was precious. I loved her. And I think it was a few years actually, and somehow I'd got scissors. I don't know how I'd got the scissors, but Nana maybe laid them out. And she was out hanging up the washing in the backyard. So I was alone in the house with scissors. Anyway, I decided that BB needed a haircut. BB's hair was nice, longer than mine, and I cut it to about the length of mine, except I didn't have professional hair clippers. So it was all bits and pieces, lumpy bits. And I looked and I thought, I have done a bad thing. What do I do? So I thought the most sensible thing to do, because I was very young, would be to gather all the hair that I'd cut off, because nobody would look at BB, of course. I'd gather all the hair that I'd cut off. I'd go up the stairs, open the window, and throw out the doll's hair, and nobody would be any the wiser. Somehow in all that, I forgot that Nana was hanging out the washing, and she was suddenly covered in blonde doll's hair. So she came in, took the scissors off me, and I could tell that she didn't know whether to burst out laughing or to give me a slap. And she said, I was a very bad girl, and I knew I was a very bad girl. And I started crying, and she didn't know whether to laugh or not. That was the end of that. And it was only one of my many escapades, like the time she caught me using the precious Lourdes water that she'd gone all the way to Lourdes in France to get. And I was baptising the dog. And I couldn't see what was wrong. The dog needed to get to heaven as well. I didn't want the dog in limbo. So again, she was stuck between this. Do I slap her or just laugh? So each time I just got her out, but the scissors were really, really kept away. And I remember when my mum came home and saw BB, she said, that's a terrible, terrible thing that you did. And I said, yes, it is, Mummy. So you think I'd stop? But no. Eventually, my aunt started sending Barbies, which weren't very common in the UK. And I think by the time I was about maybe 11, I was allowed to get a Barbie from Britain when they started to come in. So one that I'd been sent had been a Latino type of friend of Barbie called Francie with dark curly hair. And I was a bit bored with it because it looked like me. And it wasn't really what I wanted. Anyway, the new Barbie I got had long copper straight hair. It was absolutely gorgeous. And once again, the scissors were available. And I cut it into a style not unlike my own. And I got another row, but there was also laughter, and that's why I didn't get scissors till I was 12. And that's probably why Teddy should not have left me alone with a professional pair of hair clippers. And I'm telling you this because I'm anxious, because I know he's going to come home and he might even use my real name. He might not say, hi, Bunny. He might say, Kerry, what have you done? And I'll just have to deal with it. I'll just have to deal with it like the naughty little girl that I am. Well, I hope that's brightened up your day a little. And my hair doesn't look too bad, I don't think. But it is what it is. And people will look at me strangely. And at least I have a diagnosis, because I don't always get away with things like that. So have a lovely day. Keep safe. Keep well. And I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.